And welcome to Space. We are back here at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news, for your daily space weather. Thanks again for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. This is SDO imagery. This is ionized iron. The low corona, 171 angstroms. Here's a colorized magnetogram to see Sunspot 2894 upgraded to a beta class. Most likely locations for significant flares are out of Sunspot 2891, still beta gamma class. And Sunspot 2894, now certainly beta class. Will provide further analysis at the end of the video. Here's ionized helium from the SDO. And there is a coronal mass ejection warning still in place. We can expect to see one in the next, I'll say, 18 hours in the earthly zone. Whether it'll be Earth-directed or not is another story. We forecast them before they exit the corona when it's way too early to calculate trajectory. Here's ionized helium and ionized iron, 171 and 304 angstroms together from the SDO. One of my favorite composite wavelengths. And the radio flux is now at 94, I believe, 93 or 94. Here it is in the 1-year chart. This black line is the radio flux. It's the most proportional data that we have to sunspot number. Yeah, the radio flux directly proportional to sunspot number, as you can see on the graph. So yeah, 93 solar flux units is the current state of affairs when it comes to the radio flux. No space weather storms or geomagnetic unrest in the forecast by NOAA. That's the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard if you want to check that out yourself. There is a coronal hole wind stream on the way from a large trans-equatorial North Pole-oriented coronal hole that we'll show you momentarily. First, global seismicity. And check it out. There is an earthquake lull going on at the moment. You can see it's been quite a long period of time here. Since October 2nd, it looks like, since we've seen a 7+ magnitude quake here on planet Earth. Earthquake droughts end in large earthquakes. Let's take a look at what else has been shaken. So no major quakes over the past 24. A significant quake happening there in the mountains of Alaska, it looks like. Some earthquakes in between Kamchatka and Japan, as well as on the western coast of both the American continents. Yeah, no major quakes to report on here, folks. It's an earthquake lull. Perhaps one or more of these quakes that have occurred in the past 24 here are foreshocks. And during earthquake lulls, please have an earthquake plan if you're in an earthquake-prone zone especially. Know which building facades might collapse, have a bug-out bag, etc. Have an idea what will happen if the power goes out as a result of a large earthquake. Speaking of natural disasters, let's look at volcanoes next. La Palma continues to explode. It's producing an 8,000-foot plume of volcanic ash over the Canary Islands. Karimsky exploding on the Kamchatka Peninsula. It's produced an 18,000-foot plume of ash. Also Shiveluch on the Kamchatka Peninsula, 12,000-foot plume of ash from Shiveluch as it explodes. Popocatépetl volcanic ash not identifiable. Don't assume it's not erupting and square dance the caldera. Don't square dance the caldera. Fuego exploding in Guatemala, 15,000-foot ash plume over Guatemala from Fuego. Nevado del Ruiz exploding, 19,000-foot ash plume over Colombia. Revenador exploding, 15,000-foot ash plume over Ecuador. And Sabancaya exploding. Intermittent emissions are enough to produce a 26,000-foot ash plume over the country of Peru. A reminder to please do not pole vault the caldera. Please do visit the links below the channel if you enjoy the videos. Press like, press subscribe. Tell your friends and foes about us. Press the share button. Click our links. If you'd like the videos to continue to be publicly visible, free for everybody to view, etc., support the channel via the SMASH team. You can find all the links at the homepage. smAsho.org will redirect you to the homepage at smAsho.com. You can find a link there to the smAsho merch link. in order of most popular, the best-selling. Showing up first on our list there, today's featured product is the smAsh Team Classic T-shirt in brown. Why? Because I'm wearing one now. The color scheme is a little different. This design is only for paid-up one-year annual members at the smAsh Team, smashomash.com/smashTeam. Here's the shirt. And I've also got the Mensa hat on because we're encouraging you, the viewer, to make Earth not suck again, and we're doing our part via the smAsh Team. Click our links, support our channel if you want to see the videos continue to exist. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Here's a big spike in the magnetic data as measured by the GOES 17, making it all the way up to 206 nanotesla there. 206 nanotesla. A high enough reading to cause the scale to expand. As you can see now, the scale going up to 250 nanotesla as a result of that very strong reading. The blue line there on the GOES 17. Let's take a look at the heliospheric current sheet. And there is a South Pole current sheet headed this way. By the time we make tomorrow's video, we expect the possibility, at least, of Earth being in a South Pole-oriented current sheet. Here you can see the latest image, that South Pole current sheet shown there in red, making its way toward Earth. So here's a line of sight ecliptic plane field plot. It's basically a line of sight three-dimensional view of the heliospheric current sheet. North Pole portion of it there shown in green. And so we've got a transequatorial North Pole-oriented coronal hole rotating just out of the Earth-facing zone here, and a transequatorial South Pole coronal hole rotating in. So that's the solar polar field reversal happening before your very eyes there, folks. Solar polar field reversals happen throughout the solar polar sunspot cycle, and the field reversal is a feature of the ongoing solar sunspot cycles. Cycle 25 taking its good old time to progress with the magnetic flipping of the sun's polar fields. Here's a great visual of the coronal hole systems. You can see both the south and north pole oriented ones there, fairly well defined. And we can expect to see a high-speed wind stream from this one in about a little under 3 days, I'd say, at the moment. (193 angstroms is a good wavelength to show these features, coronal holes. Next, detected sunspot groups and flare probabilities. The likelihood of major flares has gone up a little bit here with the complexity of sunspot 2894. It is a beta-class sunspot. It has a trailing umbra of opposite polarity. 2891 is beta-class as well. This area up here does not have any umbra yet, at least yet. It is a plage. At least when we did show prep it was. We'll show you a high-res image of that toward the end. Here's your solar flaring over the past 3 days. No major flares, just some C-class intensifications. No spikes in the proton flux. No coronal mass ejections headed Earth's way at the moment. Just some coronal hole high-speed wind. How about the real-time solar wind data? There you go. And we saw another coronal hole wind stream strike here. So you can see this spike in the density. And as the density downticks, you can see this uptick in the speed, which made it all the way up to about 630 kilometers per second. They're still elevated at the moment. Current conditions are 575 kilometers per second for the solar wind velocity. Solar wind density still a little bit elevated there as well. 13.09 protons per cubic centimeter. Here's the KP index over the past 3 days. And brief periods of geomagnetic unrest early in the day, the last 3 days indeed. With a geomagnetic storm there just making its way off the left of the data set. Next, magnetohydrodynamic pressure over the past 4 hours. Expecting it to be fairly homogeneous here, as we haven't seen any major changes in the real-time solar wind, BT/BZ, etc. It's magnetohydrodynamic pressure, which is nanopascals modeled by the Space Weather Modeling Framework over 4 hours. Here's nanotesla. This is magnetic flux density. And like the last frame, it's also 4 hours, showing you changes to Earth's B field, geospace delta B. Some magnetic perturbations happening there over Canada, as well as around the south magnetic pole, which is someplace down here in the Southern Ocean, off of the Antarctic continent. Next, the diagram of the solar system. I hope you're enjoying your new moon. Have all you reverse werewolves been sleeping well and being productive, happy, friendly members of society and not cannibalizing other humans and staying out all night and being a general dick? Good. Let's advance this 1 week. There's your solar system forecast for 1 week from today on the 13th November. Next, a star chart. Mine's facing the south. The blue line's a galactic plane and the yellow line is the ecliptic. And we like to show it to help people get oriented. Yeah, it's astrography, where stuff is located. This is what's going on above my head. We're located in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. Let's do a brief cosmology segment, starting out with some great imagery here of M31. Yeah, there's M31, the closest major galaxy, known as Andromeda. And also we'll show you Triangulum, the galaxy Triangulum, which is the second largest local galaxy in the local group. It is in between these two folks right here. There's the Triangulum galaxy. That's known as M33, by the way. And that's the astronomy picture of the day. You can find it yourself at apod.nasa.gov. Great imagery there of the Triangulum and Andromeda galaxies. Today's random number is 25. It coincides with a high-mass X-ray binary at the Neil Gehrels Swift-Bat X-ray Observatory. Number 25 is RxJ0052.1-7319. This looks like it's actually located in a satellite galaxy as well. I didn't really look too much into where it is, more like what it's been doing. And these are the hard X-ray outputs from that high-mass X-ray binary. The upper right is the past 16 years. The lower left is the past 30 days. And the upper left is the daily hard X-ray output. Now, if you click on Simbad, it'll give you a link to the CDS portal, which looks a little bit like this. And we've placed this on the false color X-ray imagery here. So this is the 3 bands here, red, green, and blue, coinciding with longer and longer wavelengths in the X-ray spectrum. So there's that high-mass X-ray binary in X-ray. How about in ultraviolet? It's in a pretty busy part of space, folks. That's why we're looking at specific wavelengths here. So here it is on the XMM Newton UV imagery. Again, you can see it's a pretty busy part of space there. Looks like a satellite galaxy. I'm not going to really get in too depth, and I'm not going to get too depth into the location of it, more the spectra. And here it is in optical bands from the DSS. Again, pretty busy portion of space there. Could be a globular cluster. Could be a satellite galaxy. I'm not going to worry about it. And we'll close out this visual analysis here with the 2-mass infrared color imagery there of that high-mass X-ray binary. Again, that's known as J0052.1-7319. And you can see it's quite full spectrum here if you look at the photometric points. It's pretty bright in over most of the electromagnetic spectrum. That's today's cosmology segment. Check our other videos. There are playlists on the channel, youtube.com/smashamash/playlists, for lots more cosmology videos, over 200 of them on the playlist. Next, our charging hazards, and we are seeing some surface charging here over places like the Western Caribbean, Central America, and Mexico. And we're seeing high level of electron flux. Here's a 1-year chart, and we're expecting even higher levels here, so we could expect to see some additional communications outages and stuff. It's not the Chinese or the Russians hacking your internet. It could be, especially if satellite communications are involved with anything associated with your internet or your TV, satellite communications, etc. That's the electron flux as measured by the GO 16 and 17 over the past 3 days. And we're expecting to go back into warning levels here today. There's the forecast model. No arguments there. The green boxes are the forecast. The yellow diamonds are the observation. Another diagram here of the Earth's Van Allen belts. Distances are shown in miles. Feel free to pause the video if you like. Here's the total electron content forecast showing you electron density for the entire air column. And we're seeing a continued GPS errors likely here over places like the North Atlantic, the North American continent, a little bit over Antarctica as well. So a little bit of chaos here in the electron bands once again. Some GPS errors over places like the North Sea and so on. That's your total electron content forecast. Next, another diagram. It shows you the F-ionosphere layer. Distances are shown here in kilometers. Again, feel free to pause the video. And here's your ionogram. So once again, we're seeing large oscillations happen here in the ionosphere. Sudden high-frequency zones followed by sudden low-frequency zones. Anomalies on both ends of the spectrum, high and low frequency. We'll bring up the latest image and then show you the anomalygram right after this. There's the latest image. That's 9:45 Universal Time. Here is the anomalygram showing you high-frequency anomalies in blue, low-frequency anomalies in red. You can see here, especially Western South America here, some massive oscillations where we're swinging from high-frequency to low-frequency anomalies over a very short period of time there. It's all associated with the South Atlantic anomaly, which is now over the South American continent, someplace around here, around the 30 degrees south latitude line. You can see those extreme swings, those extreme oscillations happen. We covered it yesterday also in our bonus daily space weather video. Anyway, there's the latest image from 9:45 Universal Time. There's the anomalygram, and there's the ionogram. Have you seen our meteorology segments at the Smash News Network, Least Busted Name of News? They usually air before the daily space weather videos. Let's do our bonus features. So we're looking at hydrogen alpha imagery here from El Teide, Spain. You can see this large filament here. Looks like it may be erupting at the moment, coming out of Sunspot 2891. Coronal mass ejection warning remains in place. And by the way, the SMASH team gets information nobody else gets to see. Let's take a look at the latest intensitygram and colorized magnetogram. So here's Sunspot 2894, and you can see it's now beta class. The likelihood of major flares from this is much higher as a result of that additional umbra. So that's some significant news. This area up here, not a sunspot. As you can see there, that is just a plage at the moment. Sunspot 2891 has degraded as well. Still beta class, still capable of producing some flares. This Sunspot 2893, I believe that one is degrading as well. Here comes some additional bonus features. It's the NASA GO 16 SUVI imagery. This is what we usually stream to Twitch. We'll be probably streaming a little bit of this later today to Twitch also. We've captured repeated coronal mass ejections and all sorts of spectacular activity by streaming this live. It's just spectacular. So here's this active region. We figured we'd show this in 94 angstroms. Again, not a sunspot at the moment. The most interesting area to watch, in my opinion, would be down here in the southeast. And indeed, there are some C-class flares there in the imagery. 2894 now, the most likely spot to produce major activity. And we'll close out the video with a full disk view here, 94 angstroms. Once again, thanks for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists, and may that solar wind be at your back. Opinions expressed in this video, not necessarily the opinions of Smash News Network, Least Busted, Name a News.